The Galactic Council chamber felt colder than space itself. Thousands of alien delegates sat in silence as a giant hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a human colony burning. Buildings were destroyed. The sky was darker than night. Millions of humans were gone because of one brutal attack the Council allowed to happen. Ambassador Rylan, the only human in the chamber, stood perfectly still. His face showed no emotion, but inside him something had already broken. For years, humanity had trusted the Council. They followed every rule, paid every fine, and respected every treaty, but the Council never respected humanity in return. Rylan finally lifted his eyes. They were colder than any void outside. When he spoke, his voice was sharp and calm. "You ignored our warnings," he said. "You refused to punish those who attacked us. You left our people to die." A heavy tension spread across the room. Many delegates looked away, ashamed. Others simply pretended they felt nothing. But all of them felt a strange fear building inside their chests. Rylan continued. "Humanity asked for justice. You denied it. Humanity asked for protection. You laughed. Now, you will face what you created." Suddenly, the chamber screens turned bright. Surveillance feeds showed massive shadows rising above Earth. Hundreds of human warships lifted into orbit, each one glowing with power no species believed humans could build. Engines roared like thunder. Hulls shined like suns. "Impossible," whispered an alien leader. But it wasn't impossible. It was already happening. Rylan stepped back slowly. "We will not repeat the past. This time, humanity will act." At that exact moment, a gigantic human dreadnought appeared. Outside the Council's window its arrival, shaking the entire station. Humanity had snapped, and the galaxy had only seconds to understand what that meant. The Galactic Council station shook again as the massive human dreadnought settled into orbit. Its dark metallic hull reflected the nearby stars, and its engines glowed with a deep blue fire. The ship was not just big, it was terrifying. No alien species had ever built anything like it. Inside the chamber, every alien delegate watched the live feed with wide eyes. Some whispered to each other, others simply froze. This was the moment they understood. Humanity was no longer the weak, cooperative member they once believed. Ambassador Rylan did not turn back. He calmly walked toward the exit, while the Council guards hesitated, unsure if they should follow or stay still. Even they were afraid of one human dot. As Rylan left, the entire Council chamber flickered. Another screen turned on, showing even more human fleets rising from different colonies. Heavy cruisers, Titan carriers, and dreadnoughts each bigger than the last moved into formation. "Where did humans get this technology?" one alien asked, voice trembling. "They shouldn't have this," whispered another. They were a young species. But humanity was no longer young. They had grown fast. Too fast. Rylan reached the main balcony overlooking space. The dreadnought's cannons glowed softly, not firing, just watching. As if waiting for a signal, a council general finally spoke through the chamber speakers. "Humans. This action violates galactic law." Rylan slowly turned his head. "You speak of law? Where was your law when our people died? Where was your justice when we begged for help?" Silence returned. Rylan raised a small device in his hand. A communicator. The dreadnought outside responded instantly. Its energy rings expanded, lighting up the void like a rising sun. Rylan whispered one line, cold, final, and impossible to ignore. "Stand down, or be swept away." The galaxy felt its first real tremble. Humanity was not requesting justice anymore. They were taking it. Panic spread through the Galactic Council like a shockwave. Delegates rushed to their communication desks, speaking in their own languages, shouting orders, demanding answers. No one had expected humanity to rise like this. No one believed humans could build such ships or move this fast. Council Speaker Thaler slammed his staff against the floor, creating a loud echo. "Silence," he demanded. The chamber slowly calmed, but fear still hung in the air like smoke. "Humans cannot be allowed to threaten the Council," Thaler shouted, but even he felt uncertainty in his voice. A smaller delegate, a member of a peaceful Soft-spoken species stood up with trembling hands. We ignored their pleas, she whispered. We let their colony burn. Her voice shook even more. What if they are right to be angry? Most delegates avoided her eyes. None wanted to face the truth. Meanwhile, Ambassador Rylan walked through the station's main corridor, guarded only by silence. Every alien soldier he passed stepped aside. They saw something in his eyes, something unbreakable. Something dangerous. Outside the station, human fleets formed a perfect sphere around the Council's orbit. Thousands of ships held position. Their weapons glowed, not in attack mode, but in silent warning. Inside the Council chamber, a security officer gasped as another hologram appeared. It showed human research planets' places, the Council dismissed as primitive, now revealing hidden shipyards larger than moons. These shipyards, how long have they been building? Someone whispered. Decades, another answered. Maybe more. Humanity hid their power. Speaker Thaler clenched his fists. Then this was planned. The truth was painful. Humanity had prepared for this day long before the Council ever understood the danger. Rylan reached the observation deck. He looked at the stars, then at the countless human ships surrounding the station. The Council's greatest mistake was now clear. They had pushed humanity too far, and humanity no longer trusted them. Ambassador Rylan stepped onto the Council's central observation deck, an enormous glass platform overlooking space. Below him, stars drifted like cold fire. Above him, thousands of human warships floated in a perfect formation. Their engines glowed a soft, dangerous blue. Each ship watched the Council station like a silent guardian, or a silent executioner. Inside the chamber, Speaker Thaler hurried to open a communication channel to Rylan. Ambassador, Thaler said, trying to control his trembling voice. This display of force is unnecessary. We can negotiate. Rylan cut him off. Negotiation ended when you let our colony burn. Silence flooded the channel. State your demands, Thaler finally whispered. Rylan's voice turned sharp and cold. First, the species responsible for the attack will be handed over to humanity for judgment. Murmurs exploded across the chamber. No one had expected this. Second, the Council will pay full reparations to every human colony harmed by your failures. Gasps filled the room. Third, Rylan added, humanity will no longer be under Council authority. Our fleets will operate independently. Speaker Thaler's eyes widened. You are asking for the impossible. Rylan stared at him through the screen. No, I am offering you a choice. Do this peacefully, or face the consequences. Outside, the Dreadnought's engines brightened. Its energy rings glowed even stronger, casting golden light across the station. The warning was clear. Inside the Council chamber, fear towered over logic. Several delegates shouted objections. Others demanded war. But many, especially the smaller species, stared at the floor, ashamed and terrified. A young ambassador from a minor race spoke softly. If we refuse, will they attack? No one answered her. The truth was too heavy to speak aloud. Humanity had given them one final offer, and the galaxy trembled. Wondering how the Council would respond, chaos erupted inside the Galactic Council chamber. Delegates shouted over one another, slamming their hands, claws, or tentacles onto their desks. Some demanded surrender. Others demanded war. A few simply sat in frozen silence, understanding that their decisions had already shaped their fate. Speaker Thaler raised his voice to regain control. We cannot give in to humanity's demands, he yelled. If we agree today, every species will become their prisoner tomorrow. But even as he spoke, doubt filled his eyes. A group of war-focused species, those who once bullied young civilizations, stood side by side. We must show force, one of them growled. We should destroy their fleets before they attack us. A nervous officer activated the room's central hologram. It displayed every human vessel around the station. The sight silenced the room instantly. Rows of dreadnoughts, larger than mountains. Carriers carrying thousands of smaller fighters. Battle platforms glowing with energy. Weapons ready, but patient, waiting for a single command. The officer's voice trembled. We cannot win. But the war faction refused to accept fear. Prepare council defenses. They ordered. Speaker Thala hesitated, then nodded. Inside the station, shield generators hummed to life. Defense turrets rotated toward the human fleet. Hangars began launching fighter craft. Ambassador Rylan watched everything from the observation deck. His expression did not change. He simply raised his communicator and whispered, "They made their choice." Outside, the human formation shifted. Thousands of ships moved with impossible precision, forming a massive spear-like shape pointing directly at the council station. Even the council's fighters froze mid-flight. Every alien watching understood one truth. Humanity was not bluffing. Inside the chamber, Speaker Thala swallowed hard. What have we done? But it was already too late. Humanity had waited long enough. Their answer was coming. The Galactic Council Station vibrated as humanity's warfleet completed its final formation. The spear-shaped pattern of ships stretched across space like a blade ready to strike. Every alien on the station felt the same cold truth: they were seconds away from judgment. Ambassador Ryland stepped forward on the observation deck. He watched the station's defenses activate, shields glowing, fighters circling, turrets locking onto targets. The council had made its decision. They chose resistance over responsibility. Ryland pressed his communicator. Human fleet. Hold position. The order echoed through every human ship. Engines dimmed. Cannons stayed cold. Humanity was giving the council one last chance. Mercy the council never gave them. Inside the council chamber, panic turned into full silence. Speaker Thala stood, shaking, unable to speak. Other delegates watched Ryland's image on the hologram. He was calm, steady, and in full control. Ryland finally spoke. Council. This is your final moment. Admit your failure. Accept the demands, or face what comes next. The chamber froze. A small, peaceful species delegate rose from her seat. Tears glimmered in her eyes. We cannot win, she whispered. We hurt humanity. We must accept the cost. Slowly, one by one, delegates from lesser, weaker races stood with her. They voted yes to humanity's demands. But the war-focused species refused. We will never bow to humans. They roared. Speaker Thala looked at both sides, then closed his eyes. I surrender, he said softly. For the sake of the galaxy, we accept humanity's terms. A signal flashed across the chamber. Agreement passed. Rylan lowered his communicator. Outside, the human fleet relaxed. Weapons powered down. Engines dimmed. Humanity had won not through destruction, but through unstoppable strength and undeniable justice. As the council signed the treaty, one truth echoed across the stars: humanity had snapped, and the galaxy would never dare cross them again.